com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show for your Wednesday, and it's a humdinger of a show for you today. Not only is Jeff Stein going to be showing up here in just a little bit, but Stephanie Miller joins us in the 4 o'clock hour to talk about the Sexy Liberal show coming in on Saturday. Matt and Patrick here. Patrick, might as well, since I just brought up Steph's name, might as well mention we have a giveaway that we have to announce for the online giveaway from the social media pages for the Sexy Liberal show, a pay-per-view pass. Who does that pay-per-view pass go to?
That is for Catherine. Catherine, you are our winner. We reached out to you. If you are tuned in, please check your messages. We've just got to get a little information from you to make sure. And I'll throw out there, since we are now just a couple days away, if you don't win, go to sexyliberal.com to purchase your pay-per-view pass.
No, and I believe tomorrow is the last online we're giving away. Thursday, I believe it is, correct? Unless I'm missing something.
I believe that's correct.
All right, so this is I got one phrase for you that this is your last chance to win it. Win this via the social media pages. And so if you don't know what we're talking about, on the AM 950 Twitter page, the AM 950 Facebook page, and the AM 950 Instagram page, we have a post that we're making there at 9 a.m. In the comment section, you just have to make a very specific comment, and then if you do so, you'll be entered in for the drawing to possibly win a free pay-per-view pass to the Sexy Liberal show coming up on Saturday night. It's that simple. It really is that simple. So what you need to do for tomorrow, 9 a.m., we're done for today. We have our winner. But for tomorrow at 9 a.m., you have 9 until 2 tomorrow to go to the AM 950 Facebook page, the AM 950 Twitter page, the AM 950 Instagram page, and make the comment, I love John Fugelsang, which really, if you've ever listened to the show, you know that's more of an admission than anything else. But I love John Fugelsang, who will be part of the Sexy Liberal show. Basically, if you write in the comment section starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow until 2 p.m. tomorrow, I love John Fugelsang, you'll be entered in to possibly win that pay-per-view pass. Now, that's the last one we're doing online. I got a pass to give away today. I got a pass to give away tomorrow. Ooh, ah. I think that's the words. Ooh and ah. So listen during the show for your chance to call in to win yourself a pay-per-view pass to watch the Sexy Liberal show on Saturday, and then one more tomorrow, and then we're done. All right? All right. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Patrick, I am in the middle of one of the toughest tasks I have had for the last 3 freaking years. And now I'm doing it again. I've got to pick the pictures for the calendar.
Oh,
we're going to do another calendar, folks. By popular demand. My gosh, you people are relentless. So I'm having the same problem I've learned this about this. This was not in a club in my bag when I started off on the course. Okay. Which I didn't think I'd be a photographer for a calendar. At least not, tasteful nudes, but I mean, OnlyFans page. That being said, I have the same problem I have every single year. I have 1 or 2 months where I've got 10 solid, absolutely great photos. Easy peasy, no problem. Then I have some months, not really. And as a matter of fact, there is 1 month, I'm not going to say which one because I don't want anyone going to look at the calendar when I eventually get there, that I'm struggling a little bit. I think I got it covered. But man, this is called a spoiler. All right. So just keep that in mind. It's coming back 2024 bigger than before. All right. Well, actually, I don't know if it's actually bigger than before. It's 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I was up till like 11:30 last night. This is, when did I become a professional? I mean, seriously, have you listened to this crap fest? No. All of a sudden, after all these years, you people want me to do something like I'm actually a knowledgeable adult. Look at me. I'm going to work. Come on, man. Fine. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. How do you keep squirrels off of pumpkins, man?
I'm going to let you answer that.
Well, I'm not going to get. I mean, I don't have like guns or anything like that. I mean, that's a quick way to do it. I'm not looking to do that.
It kind of seems a little bit more overkill. Like there's more of a danger to the pumpkin than to the squirrel.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, but the pumpkin's taking the beating one way or the other. And in the past I used cayenne pepper, which is a hoot because birds don't have taste buds, but squirrels do. And they don't. I don't know if you're aware of this. They don't really have a spicy palate. It's nuts, acorns, stuff like that. They're not really into that. And so you can put a little cayenne pepper on it. They get one little taste of that. They don't want to bother. But then we had all that rain, and it washed it all off. And I'm getting ready to do my carving. There's not a safe pumpkin within my realm. I'm gonna be doing some carving, making some pretties. And I don't want those damn squirrels in there anymore. So, I mean, if you've got any hints or suggestions, I'm not against your advice. That is something that I will gladly take. And what I don't necessarily want is just let them have it. It's nature's splendor. Yeah, okay, fine. I just spent an hour and a half carving a pumpkin. I want my nature's splendor to be out there standing for a little bit. Okay. Plus the fact I've got fat squirrels. I don't have like lean squirrels trying to make it. I got squirrels that basically, they're huge. I got, the Dom DeLuise squirrels. I mean, that's what I've got. I don't need to be feeding them anymore. I mean, when they're stopping, going up halfway up the tree and wheezing, I think that, for their own health and safety, I don't think they need any more pumpkin seeds. Who's breathing heavy? Oh my God, it's the squirrels.
It's like, okay, guys, I think you're ready to hibernate. I think you're good.
I think they're ready to hibernate for like the Yukon territory. Frankly, they got layers. There's marbling. You can get fine steaks off these creatures at this point. They're getting big. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Well, let's preview the old news cycle before Jeff Stein gets here to talk about this. Oh, look, Jim Jordan lost a speaker vote again. And as a matter of fact, he actually has fewer votes than he did the last time. He lost, even though two people flipped their votes to Jim Jordan. Boo. 4 people switched their vote away from Jim Jordan. Yay. And he has lost again. Now, if you haven't seen this, and I'll bring this up with Stein, if you haven't seen this, there is a chart on the New York Times that talks about the speakers and where they actually were compared to the mainstream of their party at that time. And it goes all the way back to Tip O'Neill on the Democratic side. And it shows where the Democratic Party was as far as kind of a base point for the average of the members to what side of the party the speaker actually kind of represented. Were they a progressive? Were they a moderate? Were they more of a traditional Al Gore Democrat in the center of the party? It's interesting because probably the most non-contingent to the traditional Democratic House member we've had is Nancy Pelosi. She was more liberal, more progressive by quite a bit than the standard Democrat at the time she served as the Speaker of the House. Doesn't mean she didn't really have most of the votes. She did. She had a lot there, but at the same time, she wasn't there. What is amazing about this chart, though, that the New York Times has, is it shows how the Republicans, Newt Gingrich was barely a moderate back when he became the Speaker of the House. I mean, I know that he's a horrible human being. I mean, seriously, just absolute scum on the bottom of the pond. He is disgusting. But when he was Speaker, he was actually kind of a moderate before the far right of the party started pushing that party to the right. And if you look at the chart, you see that not only has the position of the party gradually moved further and further to the right, but the speakers as well. What's really remarkable is how extreme Jim Jordan is as far as a speaker candidate. He is truly the most extreme far-right speaker candidate we could possibly have ever seen in this country. Yeah, there's that. I mean, that's saying something, and that is amazing on a few different levels, because on one side of it, it is okay. Wow, it's remarkable how far to the right the Republican Party has gone. What's even crazier is he's close to becoming the speaker. He's at 199 now. And so 199 House reps think that a guy who would be the most far-right extremist House Speaker in the history of this country is the guy they want. I mean, it is remarkable how much the Republican Party has actually changed. I mean, it is truly remarkable how much it's changed. There was a bit of a surprise today from the Minnesota delegation. Representative Pete Stubby Stauber voted against the GOP's latest House Speaker nominee on Wednesday as the tumult continues to freeze the party. Now, I want to stop right there and talk a little bit about Iron Range Republicans, because I have spent a large portion of my time up on the range. Now, I believe Stauber's district now encompasses pretty much most of the tribal regions, so the Native American vote is very strong in his region. He's got Duluth, which is blue. I mean, it might even be more blue than Minneapolis. So you have that. You also have some suburban areas there. You have a lot of red area, but you also have that district decided on the range. And that district is, when you talk about Republicans on the range, sure, you have the psychopaths who have like a sign out in front of their property talking about big government failed us again. And I guess the person who lives there doesn't understand that people driving past at 55 miles an hour don't have time to read 16, plywood boards painted with your referendum, your diatribe. Apparently they don't understand that. I mean, that people would have to slow down for it. And I mean, that's just them. There are also the Republicans on the range who are blithely stupid. And what I mean by that is the ones who scream, I don't care if the mine pollutes, jobs, 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 jobs. That's all they say. And their entire argument is based on that their body of water will somehow, the one that they go to, whether that's their house they live on or where their cabin's at or their favorite fishing hole, that body of water won't be impacted by the mining, but the other ones are fine. I don't care that much. So even though that you could end up destroying the tourism of the Iron Range, which is very much predicated on the quality of lakes and the fishing up there, and of course the quality of swimming and boating and stuff like that. No one wants to necessarily swim and boat in a toxic soup. They basically will push for this, even though that if this goes wrong, it will devastate. I mean, it will devastate the North Country, because tourism, as much as you guys like to say mining, it's tourism which brings in the money up there. And if people don't want to go up there because you've polluted the land, they're not going to be hiring more people at the mines. And that's just going to be the case. And plus the fact that the vast majority of those people are probably not going to be Minnesota jobs anyway. They'll be non-union jobs shipped in with to work the mines and toxify the population. I'll just go back to look at what they did at Line 3 out in Bemidji. There were some pretty ugly elements that came into this state with that pipeline. That being said, there's a lot of Republicans up there that are Republican, but they've got this kind of environmentalist vein to them, which will say, I believe in mining as long as it's not going to poison the land. I believe in business as long as the lake is clean, that sort of thing. Why do you think whenever these mining groups, Antofagasta and the large Chilean group or any of the other ones, why do you think they spend as much money as they do talking about, we promise, even though we've never had a clean mine in the history of mining, this time it will be different? Why do you think they spend all the money on that? It's not to convince me or you, because there's no chance in hell I'd be on board for Antofagasta coming up there and, touching a pebble in Minnesota, let alone, building a mine. It's because they have to convince those Republicans who are not delusional nutbags with plywood, agendas painted on the outside of their cabin. They're not the jobs at all costs, because of course they're going to save my lake. Wait a second here. I thought we had a deal. No, there are these Republicans who do not want to see the Northland destroyed because they understand we need the tourism. I don't want my lake. I don't want to be told I can't eat the fish out of my lake anymore, whatever the case may be. So these companies spend a lot of money up there trying to court these moderate Republicans, which still exist on the Iron Range. Generally pro-union, generally pro-environment. So that's why there's always this, tap dance that they do about, we're going to bring union jobs back, when they don't bring union jobs back. We're going to do this environmentally safe, when there's no way in hell they're going to do this environmentally safe. I say this, I predicate this because Pete Stauber didn't vote for Jim Jordan. And I think that's a sign that he sees the cab coming down the street with its doors wide open, that if he goes along with Jim Jordan, that he will not win Minnesota 8. We'll talk more about that when I come back. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Scott Shamblot from Shamblot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call, because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth, because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shamblot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
I love my Toyota vehicles, so when I have to get service done, there's only one place I go, Rudy Luther Toyota. They know Toyotas inside and out. It starts with them checking your alignment and tire treads with their Hunter Quick Check Drive inspection service. Oil changes, tires, batteries, wipers, no matter what you need done, they can help you with reliable Toyota parts and the best service team in Minnesota. Check out their website, rudyluthertoyota.com, for service and parts specials just for Toyota vehicles. Get your Toyota serviced at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Seward Co-op is now offering convenient self-serve and prepackaged hot options and salad bars at both the Franklin and Friendship stores. Breakfast items available daily until 11 a.m. and brunch served all day every Sunday. Their weekly lunch and dinner menus highlight cuisines from around the world. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options daily. 95% of the ingredients used are organic from small-scale, local community food producers whenever possible. More at seward.coop.
Do you really want to taste it?
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show. So, Republican U.S. Representative Pete Stauber voted against the GOP's latest House Speaker nominee on Wednesday as the turbulence continues to freeze the party. Stauber, who waved off a question from the Star Tribune about his vote shortly afterward, was among 22 Republicans who broke from the party and opposed the far-right Ohio Republican Representative Jim Jordan. The Minnesotans' vote was a turnaround from Tuesday when Stauber joined Minnesota's three other congressional Republicans in supporting Jordan on the first ballot. Stauber's office was mum earlier this week about who he was supporting in the speaker's race. Jordan, by the way, failed to win the speakership once again today Republicans decided to try a second vote. Instead, Stauber opted for Arkansas Representative Bruce Westerman. By the way, Patrick, any idea on Bruce Westerman? I can't say I know anything about this guy.
I don't either.
Jordan won 199 GOP votes, but lost the speaker race for the second round overall, and the path forward to the White House Republicans remains unclear. A spokesperson for Stauber did not immediately respond to a request for comment after his vote. A small group of Republicans went against most members of their party earlier this month in a historic drive to remove Kevin McCarthy from the speaker's role. Now, I should mention, McCarthy lost that vote by, 8 votes. 8 Republicans switched sides. No one since has even gotten close to that margin. And there is, they're trying to get Poindexter, who's the temporary speaker, who really doesn't have any power. They're trying to figure out if there's a way they can give him power, basically, as the temporary speaker to do some things. But really, the laws are kind of clear. You have to have a speaker. So it's the inter-party rebellion led by McCarthy being ousted from the post he long coveted, with enough Republicans siding with him while he won no support from Democrats. All 4 Minnesota congressional Republicans supported McCarthy. So this is Stauber basically realizing that Jim Jordan is not going to be something he can sell during the general election. It's one thing to, try to shut down the government and try to get some sort of concessions or something of that nature. It's another thing to have to go into an election season and say, oh yeah, that guy who basically Jim Jordan called a 10-year-old rape victim a liar. And when it was proved that she wasn't lying, he never once apologized. The coward just deleted his tweet, and he refused to comment on it otherwise. Once again, Jim Jordan called a 10-year-old rape victim a liar. He also, by the way, you should read up on his what he did at Ohio State when his athletes that he was in charge of with the wrestling team over there were being violated in the school locker room, and he did nothing to stop that. But then there's the whole, hey, guess who was part of the January 6th intending to overthrow the government of the United States? Jim Jordan. That's right. He's a traitor. He's a horrible human being. And I think that Pete Stauber, this is admission from Pete Stauber, that even he can't, in his district, it's just enough of a toxic vote by moderate Republicans that it could end up costing him the district. So he's himself is moving away from him. I don't know where this goes. Like I said, we're going to talk extensively with Stein about this coming up here in just a few moments. But I will also make the point of every Republican is coming out saying the Democrats are failing us. No, they're not. Hakeem Jeffries is not exactly the most moderate Democrat you'll see out there. He's not. He's getting every single Democratic vote. He's getting every single one. Even the far left progressives are voting for him. Even the moderate Democrats are voting for him. They're all voting in unison for Hakeem Jeffries. That's what called party unity is. You once again welcomed in a bunch of psychopaths who are only there for themselves, for their own press, for their own TV cut-ins. They could care less about a cohesive party platform. They could care less about a cohesive party agenda. They could care less about the government functioning and running. They could care less about their own constituents and gleefully applaud the pain that they're about to inflict on their own constituents by trying to shut this government down. That is who they are. That is who they are. And they basically want the most extreme because they know, especially when it comes to, we talked about that school district south of the metro where about a quarter of the school went out there and was part of a racist attack and bigoted attack on multiple people. That's a sign of what really is out in these communities. That's a quarter of the people out there. They're learning this at home. That's the families, this pro-Nazi agenda that's out there. That's what you're seeing. That's who these people, they've created these such safe Republican zones that they're pandering to near Nazis or actual Nazis, and that's where they think that they're going to get their base. That is and as long as the only media these people hear in these rural areas is, far right talking point after far right talking point after far right talking point, it's just cultivating a bigger and bigger mess. You guys can't lead. You guys are pathetic. But, once again, they're trying their hardest to blame the Democrats. Obviously, a lot to get to with Jeff Stein on this. We will do so when we do return. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. And a reminder, the phrase for tomorrow on the social media page is, I love John Fugelsang. There you go. Enjoy. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
When I see something, I wish I had.
2023 is here, and you can make it the year of the Eagle with the National Eagle Center. You and your family can enjoy exciting Eagle experiences, including field trips, private habitat tours, and exclusive behind-the-scenes tours. Meet live eagles up close, view bald eagles and golden eagles in the wild, and receive personal one-on-one education with dedicated and knowledgeable eagle experts as you journey into the world of eagles like never before. Learn more and plan your unforgettable Eagle experience today at nationaleaglecenter.org/experiences.
Are you ready to embark on a journey towards taking control of your health and well-being? I'm Candy Brothel, host of Green Tea Conversations. Join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. as I sit down with the local experts who are bridging the gap between mainstream medicine and complementary therapies. Each week, we explore topics in integrative medicine, nutrition, fitness, creative expression, personal growth, and sustainable living. So grab a cup of tea and join the conversation as we awaken to natural health. Visit us at naturaltwincities.com.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
My grandpa Jim Warner treated his customers like family, and Warner Stellian is still doing that today. I'm Angela Warner, and to thank you for 69 years, Warner Stellian Appliance is offering unbeatable savings of up to 40% off. Free dishwasher installation and no interest for 2 years with your Warner's card. Plus, go to warnerstellian.com for an exclusive $50 coupon. These deals end October 18th, so hurry into one of our 10 Minnesota stores. You'll love your new appliances and Warner Stellian.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 60, tonight cloudy with a low around 48, and Thursday cloudy with a high near 59. Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Tour show is back with a virtual show October 21st, and you can win a free pay-per-view pass. Just listen to Matt McNeil weekdays for the password, then comment on our social media post by 2 p.m. the next day with the password. Winners will be revealed during Matt's show. Check AM 950 social media for details.
Jeff. J-E-F-F Jeff. J-E-F-F Jeff. J-E-F-F Jeff.
Jeff Stein's our national and presidential expert and noted author. You can find his books at Next Chapter Books, as well as also totallyiowa.com, the Iowa Business Report, which is quite good, and the Iowa Politics Report, which is also they come to us from KXEL Cedar Falls, Waterloo, where Jeff is kind enough to join us today. Hey, Jeff.
You know, I love John Fugelsang.
You do? Oh, well, you see, you have to then write this. I do too. I mean, it is.
I'm trying to help.
Let's just give him a pass.
Well, we'll get you set up with the sexy liberal pass, okay, Jeff? So you can enjoy that. By the way, I love John Fugelsang is what you need to put on the social media post tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on the Twitter page, the Facebook page, and the Instagram page for AM 950. And a reminder, a little bit later on this show, we'll give away a free pay-per-view pass as well for the Sexy Liberal show. Jeff, that being said, hey, there's been some fun stuff going on over there at the U.S. House. I have never seen anything like this. Has there ever been in the history of this country, not including like if, God forbid, a speaker died or something like that, has there ever been anything even close to this in the history of this country?
No. Very simply, no. I mean, the fact that a speaker was removed by a movement led by his own party and getting all of the other side to go along, I mean, that's how the whole thing started, remember? The thing that's interesting is it did not take much to throw McCarthy out, right? All it took was just all the Democrats banding together, and they only needed a few Republicans. They got more than they needed. But after that, could they get to 217 with anything? No. A little bit of history, you know, when McCarthy went through his 917 ballots or however many it was back in January, it seemed like forever. The lowest number he got at any point was 200.
Yeah.
He got 203 on the first ballot. So what did Jordan come up with yesterday? Like 201?
It was 201, 199 today.
And the thing that was interesting was, and normally I wouldn't watch every little bit of this, but I was doing a national show, so I had to watch it in real time. And they were saying at the time, the folks who are covering this and counting votes, yes, he may flip a few after the first ballot to come on over, but he was going to lose at least that many. They said yesterday at best it would be a wash, and instead he lost ground. Okay, so where do they go from here? Jordan says he's going to keep trying. Now, at what point do you turn that around? But what's the alternative? This is the problem. And I don't mean to make light of it, but I said it last time, or as soon as they threw out the speaker. Okay, the dog chased the car and then finally caught it and didn't know how to drive. Well, that's what happened here. There was that small group that wanted to get rid of McCarthy immediately. No game plan.
Has there ever been a more, and this is obviously a question very easily you might not know the answer to, has there ever been a more conservative candidate for Speaker of the House than Jim Jordan? I don't think there has.
Yeah, well, it all depends on how you define things, but in our current vernacular, probably not, because remember, over the decade or so that we have known him as a public figure, he was the backbencher. He was the thorn in the side. He was the anti-leadership guy. And over the past few years, he tried to modify that demeanor so he could be part of leadership. In other words, I'm going to work my way to the leadership rung so that then I can affect change from within. Well, that has led to a lot of hard feelings along the way. And the way this speaker thing has played out has not helped. You know what's in the oddest twist of all? The person who comes out of this looking the best is Kevin McCarthy of all people.
And he does. And if you're right, I want to get back to him in a little bit.
Sure.
But one of the things what I find to be fascinating about this is that what we are seeing, I don't know if you did see the New York Times the image that they put out where it showed how the Republican Party's speakers and nominees have moved further and further to the right since Newt Gingrich, and how they are, really that Jim Jordan is way out on the outside. When this country, when political parties really started, which was kind of from the Jeffersonians, it was, the Whigs and the Democrats, but they've pretty much agreed on like 90% of things. It wasn't until the Whigs basically said they had to be pro-slavery like the Democrats that the people, rejected them and became the Republican Party. But even still, after the Civil War, it wasn't until the 1950s and 60s where this grand divide started to becoming wider and wider. And so for a guy like Jim Jordan, the fact that he even gets 199 votes, I think is a bad sign about how extreme the party has gotten on the Republican side. And yet, they don't have the candor to come back and say what they should. Let's give Kevin McCarthy the job back. Let's just, Matt Gaetz, if you get in the way of this, we'll make sure we get you out of office tomorrow, and we'll do whatever we need to do. But, there just doesn't seem to be that rational voice to say, even if I have to get a few Democrats on board, let's get McCarthy back in there.
Well, with regard to the fact that he gets 200 votes shows how far off the rails the Republicans are. Yes and no, because remember, there were a lot of folks who voted to keep McCarthy who said the only reason that they did was because of timing. They didn't like him. They held their noses to get him as speaker to begin with. They didn't like how he was handling the budget. But because we were in the midst of a continuing resolution, kick the can down the road situation, they were willing to see if he could deliver the goods by Thanksgiving. And I say Thanksgiving, in essence, the time the next CR would expire, a week before. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of folks that I heard come to a microphone saying, I don't like him, I don't trust him, but I'm going to vote to keep him in because of what's going on. All right, so then he's gone. And he comes out and says, and he played with this, as you recall, well, I'm not running for speaker again. Well, if the conference wants me, no, I'm not running for speaker. Now, he's all over the board on it, which I can understand. There's a lot of emotions there. I think a lot of the people who, because let's face it, Scalise and Jordan are not the same person. And so, the big pro-Scalise folks don't like Jordan and vice versa. You're only getting the 200 for Jordan, in my view, because of the fact that they lost McCarthy. They couldn't even get Scalise close enough to a vote. There's a sense of we're running out of time for the budget. Hamas has attacked Israel, et cetera, et cetera. We got to get going. All right. And so they're exhausting on their side, the Republican side, who could get to 217. Well, if it's not Scalise and it's not Jordan, and the only way McHenry gets into this as a temporary speaker with additional powers, the only way that works is if you get Democrats to cross over. And what do you have to give up to make that work, even if it's a 30 or 60-day appointment? And I got to tell you, McHenry sure likes sitting on the speaker's balcony. And I'll come back to that in a moment. But I mean,
it makes him taller. Sorry.
The bow tie started spinning. No, it's a matter of if they can't deliver Jordan. Well, okay. The original point is a lot of these folks don't want Jordan, but they don't want the chaos. They want to look like they are governing. And so they're willing to go along because in their mind, we'll throw him out next time. But if they can't deliver Jordan, by Monday or Tuesday of next week, McCarthy's going to be looking pretty good, which is kind of a frightening thing in and of itself. But let's talk about McHenry, if I can, because, he was so upset about McCarthy getting voted out, and he banged the gavel so hard he almost broke it off and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Why are you then posing for pictures 24 hours later, sitting on the speaker's balcony with your phone in your hand, your, feet up, reclined, got a beautiful view? It's kind of like, well, I didn't want the upgrade to first class, but now that I'm here, I can't imagine going back to cabin. I think is going on.
Can I add something to that? The fact that his first thing as the acting speaker was to throw Nancy Pelosi out of her office, that told me he's playing politics. He wants that seat, and he's trying to appeal. He's a relative unknown trying to make a name for himself. I think at the end of this whole thing, it's either going to be McHenry or McCarthy is the speaker. But what do you take about, last night, apparently after the first vote, Jordan pulled Scalise aside and said, hey, I need your help with these moderates. They need to get back on board. And Scalise said, nah, I'm not going to help you with that.
Well, because if you believe the backstory, it was that Jordan did not offer enough help to Scalise to get him over the top. In other words, they, remember the history on this. McCarthy's thrown out. All right. So then the Republicans have a vote to see, is it Scalise or Jordan? Who's got the most votes? Who's then taken to the floor? And Scalise won. And Jordan supposedly did not provide him the behind the scenes support. He came out publicly and said, "Oh yes, let's vote for Scalise," but it wasn't the kind of twist some arm support necessary. And so now Scalise is saying, "See how it feels." But you know, the McHenry thing with regard to Pelosi's office, the story, and I think we talked about it. If we didn't, I'm sorry, but I thought the story that came out later was that McCarthy, and let's be clear, McHenry is a devotee of McCarthy. His power derived from McCarthy. His loyalty is still with McCarthy. All right. Other than his own aspirations. Supposedly, McCarthy thought he had a deal with Pelosi. Maybe it's a wink and a nod thing about, hey, if I need help on this, you're going to back me up, right? Because we're both from California and et cetera, et cetera. He thought he had her support. When that did not materialize and no Democrats came over to save him, that's when the retribution started. Now, in former Speaker Pelosi's defense, she was with her poor deceased colleague at the time and wasn't in Washington.
She was at a funeral, and the fact that
she wasn't just at a funeral; she was the official escort with the body of the late Senator Feinstein. It's not like she just attended. I mean, this was a huge thing, and that's why she wasn't there.
And the fact that they did that while she was doing that.
Yes,
it was political. I mean, there was a political element to it.
It was horrible. It was just horrible because, again, even if you thought you had a deal, even if she reneged on the deal, consider the circumstances of why the woman isn't there. Consider the optics of it. And I've been to the Capitol, not much, but it's roomy. There are places they did not need the space.
A lot of people are pointing towards Jordan's campaigning with the help of the swollen wound that is Sean Hannity. The fact that they went out there.
What did you say?
Swollen wound. I was going to call him Baby Huey, but you know that would be that'd be an insult to Baby Huey. The bee sting victim.
Wasn't that one of the bands that you used to play bass for, the Swollen Wounds?
Oh yeah, we used to do some really, really fine takeoffs on Dexter's Midnight Runners.
Dexter's Midnight Runners. Turn in your 80s music card. It's Dexy's. Oh my God.
Well, for Dexy's. Okay, thank you.
Somebody help, Brad. Help me with this. This is. Anyway, go ahead. It's your show. Go ahead.
Well, is it?
I don't know. For a while here on the video, it was somebody else's show in the corner, so I thought I'd trade it up, but no, it's back to you.
Okay. I will say this.
Yeah.
A lot of these moderates are saying the fact that it was such a threat. There wasn't a, hey, we're gonna do. This is why Jim Jordan is so dangerous. Jim Jordan wasn't out there saying, okay, what bills do you guys want passed? I'll make sure they come up for a vote. It was, you'd better support him or else. And they unleashed Sean Hannity and his crew onto these moderate, Republicans. And some of them even have their wives getting nasty text messages and stuff like this. There's a lot of people that have pointed to the fact that because of that tactic, that the fact that he never really reached out and said, what would it take for me to get your vote? It was more of, you'd better vote for me or else. That is what has basically killed his speaker chances. I agree with that. Your thoughts on him unleashing the Hannity on the moderates?
Unleashing the Hannity. That's now going to become a hashtag. The story apparently was that after it was sometime around the time that Scalise and Jordan were jockeying for position in the caucus, Jordan's answer was, America wants me to be speaker. Okay. First of all, I have no idea if that's true. Second of all, I could sure hear him say it because third of all, because of some of the punditry out there pumping him up, he's got the sense that he's, the great hope of America and America wants me to be speaker. I don't care. It's not a vote of America. It's a vote of members of Congress. So forget what America wants. How about you do, what you're supposed to do? You're not for the same reason. I mean, think about this. This is how crazy this all got. Fox offered to moderate a forum on television between Scalise and Jordan. and they each initially accepted. Now, what business is it for Fox to say, well, let's put these two on here? Because again, weren't they supposed to sort of make their cases to their colleagues? Now, I'm not suggesting that things should be done in secret. I'm simply saying, what's the network doing staging a cage match like that?
Well, and it's this idea. Okay, Michelle Bachmann, when she was representing here, there was people asking if she was ever going to run for Senate. She was smart enough to realize she had no chance. She had a custom-made district that was able to basically keep getting her elected. But the reality is, if she would have run for statewide office, she would have been annihilated. That's what you got with Jim Jordan. He wouldn't win statewide in Ohio, I don't think. I don't think, Marjorie Taylor Greene would win statewide in Georgia. Boebert wouldn't win statewide in Colorado. I think what you've got with these people is this is what Jim Jordan's coming up against. He's coming up against this wall where, as you talked about before, he thinks I'm meant to be, the Speaker of the House. America wants me. No, they don't. There's quite a few people. Clearly, they don't, because you're not Speaker at this point. But the reality is that these people buy their own press. And this is one of those rare cases where you see someone who really shouldn't be trying to take on such a large role, trying to do so and getting a 2x4 to the face when they realize, oh no, I still am, even though I'm probably more popular with extreme far-right policies than we've had in this country in a long time. The reality is I'm still a long way from being something that the masses are going to be demanding.
Well, again, define masses. And this is the problem with the echo chamber of media these days. People only consume what they want. They don't want their beliefs challenged. They only listen to that which makes them feel good. So Jordan is not listening to anything outside the echo chamber and his own group of sycophants who tell him how great he is. I don't recall Scalise having a spokesperson speaking to the media all the time during the speaker situation. Jordan has a spokesperson who's talking to the media about the strategy. Okay, maybe we're just a little too full of ourselves. I recall the Gates element when McCarthy couldn't get elected. He was hanging out in the speaker's office because it was presumptive. And Gates sent a letter to the I don't know, it's the clerk of the house or the sergeant at arms or the chief gendarme, I don't know, whatever it is, saying, hey, there's a squatter in that office. You need to padlock the door. Well, Jordan is toggling between his committee chair office and the speaker's office to try to arm twist. Okay, I guess to me, the speaker's vacant. The speaker's office is vacant. There is no speaker. Just shut the door and turn off the lights. The level of hubris among some of these people. And I guess if you're going to hold a position like this, you got to be pretty confident about yourself, but holy cow, read the room.
Well, we're going to try. We're going to take a break. We're going to try to read the room and try to figure out our best bet is when does the Republicans get a speaker and who will that be when we do return? Jeff Stein joining us, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? Be honest, how does your carpet look and smell right now? Okay, maybe you have a carpet disaster on your hands, but that's why you should call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner to save a little money, but trust shouldn't come that easily. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know it's safe and effective. That's why this month you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $149 and take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Spell it forward or backward, it's the same. Zero Res. Refresh, restore, and protect your investment. Call Zero Res to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals the other guys use.
Hi, this is Todd from 30 Bales on Main Street in Hopkins. My co-founder Tom and I developed our restaurant to celebrate everything Midwestern cuisine has to offer. Our upbeat neighborhood gathering place brings together bright personalities, bold recipes, clean ingredients, and craft spirits that play with the unique flavors of the Midwest. The menu at 30 Bales is inspired by seasonal ingredients grown close to home. Find us across the street from the Hopkins Center for the Arts at 1106 Main Street with plenty of free parking. Go to 30bales.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth. How do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. Jeff Stein joining us with his usual Wednesday visit. And one reminder, you do have another chance to hear this on Sundays. We re-air the Jeff Stein interview on AM 950.
Jeff, why?
I don't know.
Nobody needs this. By the way, I'm contributing here via, what do we call this, StreamYard?
Yeah.
And so usually I can see you. Well, for whatever reason today it's freezing. So I just see you like every 15 seconds. So it's kind of like max headroom, and it freezes at some really unique facial expressions. I'm trying to decide if I like streaming Matt or glitchy Matt better.
Glitchy Matt is, oh, come on, man. I mean, that's just pure gold. There's your Christmas cards right there. Screen grab at your leisure. All right.
I'll do what I can. Yes.
So, okay. McCarthy lost, what was it? 8 votes. That's what he lost by, right?
McCarthy lost by 8 votes.
Yeah, on the Republican side. I mean, and stop looking at the Democrats. This is on the Republicans. He lost by 8 votes. No one else has gotten close. At some point here, I think that the rest of the Republicans are going to go to Nancy Mace and the rest of these guys and saying, we're a laughingstock. Stop it. Just get over yourselves, or else we will get rid of you. And I think McCarthy will be in there because I just don't think McHenry has the traction to get more than a few weeks. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is, in order to get McHenry, they don't have 217 Republicans right now to do anything.
Nope.
Even give McHenry a 30-day pass or whatever it would be. You need crossovers. And right now, it's not in the Democrats' interest to cross over. Meanwhile, what's going on in the Senate? There's talk about aid to Israel bundled with aid to Ukraine. And if the Senate acts and then the House can't, well, who's going to, in essence, get their way in terms of public opinion, in terms of framing an issue? I mean, I'm going to tell you right here, and you can correct me when I'm wrong when I join you on Wednesday, but if this is not settled by Tuesday, then there's going to be the push McCarthy movement, because these folks are going to come home and they're going to hear an earful. Congresswoman from Southeast Iowa flipped today away from Jordan and voted for the Appropriations Committee chair, woman from Texas. I don't remember her name. It's not important. That Iowa representative has a huge fundraiser back home Friday night, presidential candidates, everybody else, lots of her donors. Do you think she's going to hear an earful about this, as will the other members of the delegation who show up? See, if everybody goes home for the weekend and there's no speaker, Tuesday it's going to be, we're knocking heads, and if it has to be McCarthy, it has to be McCarthy. And can you imagine the vindictiveness with which he will rule if he does get it back?
And really quickly on that, I mean, is the fear that far right's going to have is that if you put McCarthy back in, you're not going to get him out again?
Well, exactly. Because again, they thought they drove a stake through his heart, and apparently not, because he's still on TV constantly. Why is that? The resurgence. That's why.
They got his spleen. They're off a little bit, you was
dark. They hadn't done it before, You
got to have better aim than that. Go try some lawn darts. All right, Jeff Stein, once again, the Iowa Politics Report. We'll post that a little bit later on. And of course, you can listen to this once again on Sunday. Thanks, Jeff. Hour 2 coming up next.
I'm Candy Brothel.
I'm Elizabeth Sullivan.
And I'm Kelly Wagner.
Energize yourself with AM 950's Sunday Shine Radio from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Sunday Shine Radio radiates wellness, consciousness, and curiosity.
Join me, Candy Brothel, for Green Tea Conversations at 10 a.m.
Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth at 11 a.m.
And the Being Curious Show at noon.
Our lineup focuses on igniting your own self-discovery and personal wellness.
Tune in every Sunday for Sunday Shine Radio from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And let us guide you on an inspirational journey each week.
Minnesota's program for news, information, and perspective at the intersection of mobility and technology. It's the Tech Mobility Show. I'm Ken Chester, your host. I cover evolving mobility and technology trends and topics in a way that's easy to understand. Things are changing fast, and it's easy to get lost in the flow. By tuning into the Tech Mobility Show, you can stay informed about the latest happenings with electric vehicles, personal privacy issues, climate change, and more. That's the Tech Mobility Show every Saturday from 9 to 10 p.m. on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Your need-to-know news headquarters, the Tom Hartman Program, AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
I'm Ed Donahue. Jim Jordan vows to keep trying. His path to becoming House Speaker is almost certainly closed in a second attempt. Here's the AP Sagar Magani.
This time, Jordan lost even more GOP support, with 22 Republicans voting for someone else. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy says Jordan can turn it around.
Give him the opportunity to talk and listen and earn it.
And he would not advise Jordan to drop out.
It definitely wouldn't be after 2 or 3 votes. I went quite a ways.
It took McCarthy 15 rounds to win, but New York's Mike Lawler, who has voted twice for someone other than Jordan, says more ballots won't matter.
I don't see the outcome changing.
Which leaves the GOP with a big question as the House remains immobilized.
How do we get back to work?
Lawler's among a bipartisan group pushing an extraordinary step to give interim Speaker Patrick McHenry more power.
So that he can get the House moving again on critical issues.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
President Biden says Egypt's president has agreed to open the Gaza border, crossing to allow 20 trucks in with humanitarian aid. Israel is allowing the aid to move in.
Based on the understanding that there will be inspections, that the aid should go to civilians, not to Hamas.
The U.S. vetoed a UN resolution to condemn all violence against civilians in the Israel-Hamas war and to urge humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza. UN Ambassador Gilad Erdan says,
I'm truly shocked. I'm horrified. I truly don't understand what is going on here. The most barbaric and wide-scale terror attack in decades, bigger than 9/11, was perpetrated 11 days ago, and it seems like this council has already forgotten.
The Dow finished down 332 points. This is AP News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way a fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Crooner's Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music from both big-name local and national artists in a wide array of styles. Before or after your show, check out the new Maggie's Lounge, a perfect spot to visit with friends. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays beginning at 4:30 with cocktails and light fare. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. Crooner's Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65. A little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 60, tonight cloudy with a low around 48, and Thursday cloudy with a high near 59. Crooner's Supper Club invites you to check out the stylish Maggie's Lounge before or after your show. With a welcoming atmosphere, it's the perfect place to catch up with friends before or after a show. Open Wednesdays through Saturdays beginning at 4:30. Stop by for cocktails and light bites. More at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on your Wednesday. Good to be with you, Matt Patrick. The Stephanie Miller Sexy Liberal Tour comedy show is back for one show only on Saturday, the 21st, from the Saban Theater in Los Angeles. Stephanie is going to have John Fugelsang, Frangela, Hal Sparks, all with her. And there's going to be simulcast live on pay-per-view, so you can watch it from the comfort of your own home, although it's up to you how you dress for that. Stephanie Miller is the longtime host here in the mornings from 8 until 11 on AM 950, and she's kind enough to take some time today to talk to us about the event and other things. Hi, Steph.
Kind enough. Oh my God, I'm like an endorsement whore. Are you kidding me, Matt? I am at your service. Thank you for promoting.
You are so awesome. No, I this is just one of those things. I'm tickled pink. Now, I blush every time I talk to Fugelsang, but you are up there too. You know, it's kind of one of those things where you are just so awesome. The minute we mentioned the show, the pay-per-view, all the listeners, they're all like, Steph's doing another show. Great. Yeah, it's everyone loves you, and it's just so nice to have this on Saturday.
I love them back, and I mean that in a filthy, filthy way. And let me just say, you asked about dress code. We really recommend naked, and that you Lauren Boebert yourself in some way while you're watching the pay-per-view, because I feel that's important. I believe Hal Sparks and we did the first teabagging demonstration. I believe, I think we did it in Minneapolis. I'm pretty sure, because I didn't really know what teabagging was back when we started the tour, Matt. And now Hal Sparks and I will be demonstrating Boeberting, which is what Congresswoman Lauren Boebert did in a theater with her date at Beetlejuice.
You know, and if I'm thinking of hot musicals, Beetlejuice is always the number one on my list.
Yes, yes. And I think, as one of our guests, JoJo from Jers, said, it is referred to as shucking the mister's cob, and also dialing her nipples like a combination lock.
Yes.
So I just to clarify for your audience. Yeah.
Well, it's like trying to capture a raccoon. You know, you really got to herky jerky with it. You know, you can't be namby pamby.
That's so deliciously rural Minnesota, that raccoon story, Matt, and I appreciate it.
Oh, watching Lauren Boebert at Beetlejuice reminds me of my dad behind the garage. So I don't want to get into that though. So glad you're doing this now. You know, you're doing it out in Los Angeles. You got the whole crew coming on in here. It's nice to have you back, because, like I said, after the last few years, having normalcy, things like this, it's always just such a comfort.
Oh my God, particularly now, Matt, with what's going on in the Middle East and around the world, you've got to laugh or you will cry. By the way, I understand your attraction to John Fugelsang, who is really every carbon-based life form is attracted. And just think about that. You can see his package like in, I don't even, widescreen, like 3D. I don't even know what the pay-per-view will be, but it's spectacular. And my point is also, we have, Matt, the alpha liberal panel of all time. We have Rob Reiner and Ron Perlman and Malcolm Nance and Glenn Kirshner, all on panel at Sexy Liberal. That it's $20, for God's sakes. You can watch on demand anytime you want. It's, if you want to join the party live, it's at, of course, 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, which would be 10 o'clock your time, correct? In Minneapolis. So you can watch live or you can watch it on demand anytime you want. And it is a lot of sexy and a lot of liberal. Is all I'm saying.
That is huge. I mean, that's got to be the biggest lineup you've ever had for one of these shows.
I think so. I mean, I think, honestly, I feel like, Matt, I don't know how you are about religion, but I feel like God created this panel for this moment in time. Honestly, I've been keeping Malcolm Nance for I don't know how many segments lately about terrorism in the Middle East and this just horrible, tragic, ongoing situation. Glenn Kirshner is I think the foremost legal expert about, we always say, when is that orange mofo going to jail about Trump? And, we call this the indictment tour. Rob Reiner is the most passionate, democracy defender I know. Ron Perlman is both the Beast from Beauty and the Beast and Hellboy. So I just want you to think about that with a lot of liberal political passion. So I can't even tell you. I gotta say, Hal Sparks, I don't know if you've ever seen his T-Rex bit. Yes. I am going to beg him to do it again this Saturday because it is about, the only thing that would solve all these problems in the world, like the Middle East, is if the dinosaurs come back. And that bit is so brilliant. I don't know if you've heard Frangela on my show talk about Democratic voters and what's for dinner, Biden's for dinner. I'm going to black mama this. What's for dinner, Biden's for dinner. And John Fugelsang, as you know, no one speaks more eloquently and smartly and with more humor about religion than John Fugelsang. And, so this show, this panel, honestly, Matt, I'm so excited. It is the perfect show and panel for this moment in our history when we are facing possibly the end of democracy here and the rise of fascism in America. So that's why we're kicking off the 2024 Sexy Liberal Tour election year tour early. That's why we're doing pay-per-view, because we're people have got to wake up and vote in insane numbers in this election.
Well, and I was just talking about Jim Jordan, who is a loon ball, is got 199 votes for the Speaker of the House. Although I do admit, I imagine you guys are going to break that down quite a bit. The absolute chaos and dysfunction that is the House Republicans.
Oh, it's hilarious. I mean, if it wasn't so sad for our country, I know that Steve Doocy from Fox News asked Karine Jean-Pierre a few weeks ago, "Oh, is the White House just loving this GOP House?" And she's like, "No." We want another governing party in the United States. We can laugh about it, but it's not funny. There is, we are in a critical situation, not just in this country, but around the world. And Republicans, I mean, this vote today, he got less votes. He got less votes than he did the day before, and they're going to do it again tomorrow. I feel like we're going to hear a Cher song and Bill Murray's going to be in this somehow because it's just going to be Groundhog Day tomorrow. I don't understand what they're doing.
Robert Burrill, a comedian up here, he made the comment, and I think this is great. They should just go the Masked Singer route at this point. They go on out there, whichever one sings the best. I'll go with the cockroach. Oh, look, it's Scalise. And I think because that's going to have let's be honest, that will have more dignity than what they're doing right now.
Oh, they're such a clown show. And, as we were saying, Matt, today on the show, this is a continuation of the coup. If you put, not just an insurrectionist, the guy that was the perpetrator of the coup, pretty much, who was the main guy in charge of, I'm going, oh my God, he's got to be speaker to stay out of jail. And Trump's got to be president to stay out of jail. I guess. Is that where we are?
Well, you bring that up. I mean, I think that's one of the things that you and I have. You've been obviously on this station longer than I have, and I've been here for a long time. You and I have seen the rise and the sustaining. You've been able to sustain yourself. We've been able to do that up here at AM 950. There has been this element to try to shut down the progressive voice, but thank God that you're around, and especially with your national show, because you're exactly right. This coup is still going on. it's Jim Jordan's whole job has been to basically make sure Donald Trump never faces consequences for his actions and set up the system with Tuberville down there to basically where they can do this again in 2024, and this time they'll do it right.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, Matt, it's not hyperbole. And can I just say a shout out to, your fantastic 950 in Minneapolis, because you are absolutely right. There are so few bulwarks out there. Chicago Station, Minneapolis, Madison, but you're right. I mean, thank God for Sirius XM, Free Speech TV. I mean, the listeners in Minneapolis in particular understand that we're an endangered species. Right when we're facing fascism in America, the progressive media, I am so thankful every day for your station because, as you know, I'm an old radio dinosaur. I've been doing this for 1,000 years, and I believe, Matt, in the power of the public airwaves. And I've said this for, last 20 years I've been doing this show. The public airwaves don't belong to me or to Sean Hannity. They belong to you, the American people. And the fact that, because of the fairness doctrine and everything, as you know, that's happened, there's 60 zillion right-wing stations, some of whom were responsible for a 6-year-old Palestinian boy being stabbed to death in Illinois, according to his family, that he was inflamed by right-wing radio. This is such a critical time for the AM 950s in Minneapolis to exist. And I hope people really get that. And I know your listeners do. They support us. They support our sponsors. They support your sponsors, you guys. It is so critical, Matt. I mean, I don't mean to get all, I know I'm a comedian, but this is important. This is, I was wearing my T-shirt yesterday from our show. It's democracy, stupid. I mean, it's literally not hyperbole what you just said, Matt. This could be the end of our democracy if we don't get out and vote.
And you see in the states where all they get is that conservative narrative, Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska, around, at least here in the upper Midwest, where it's just continually moving to the right. Hey, Minnesota's pretty cool. We got legal dope now and a whole bunch of other stuff because Governor Walz and everyone here kicked ass. But the reality is that, states like Minnesota, Michigan, there's not many that are going this way. Hopefully we can make that change, but it's one of those things where you have to take every election there. No one sits on an election anymore. Every election matters. These off year elections, next year elections, every election matters at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you're right. That's what Democrats, I think, were missing early on, is just everything, state, local. But, you got to get out. You got to run for something. You got to vote every election. What is it? Hal Sparks, our sexy liberal, says, I know people that are such committed liberals that they vote at least every other election. None of that anymore. Right?
Absolutely. You, of course, you're in beautiful California. Obviously, I mean, I guess one thing I want to ask you, because you're on the front line there in regards to, well, two things. One, the SAG-AFTRA strike there. I'm hoping. I mean, I really feel sorry for the actors out there, especially with AI. It's disturbing how much that's going to take over. But the other thing, too, is the political question is the race for the Senate seat, Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat that's now open there. Who do you think is going to be the front runner there in California for that, if I can ask?
Well, it's funny you bring up AI, Matt, because this is actually not me. I just, I was busy because I was sexy liberal this week. So this is actually, I was like, put Stephanie Miller into Matt McNeil, AM 950 interview. And then here I am. So, look, I got to say, Adam Schiff is not just my congressman, but a personal friend. We have an embarrassment of riches out here. Katie Porter is fantastic. Yep. I do worry about being able to hold that seat if she wins. So, Barbara Lee's fantastic. Obviously she's fantastic, and so, but I have to say, I just think Adam Schiff, if you've watched him, to me, he is just a patriot through and through. I got to tell you, you see him on TV, that's how he is in person. That's just how he is all the time. He is just a thoroughly decent American patriot. So, I hope he wins. And look, I got to tell you, my nephew is plays the first gay president in Shonda Rhimes' new series for Netflix. So no one wants this strike to be over more than me because he comes and stays with me when he shoots out here, and it's heartbreaking. Like he was out here shooting, and now they've been, who knows now when they're going to be back shooting again, because all these actors and all these other people, they don't get any income, Matt. They're just okay. And I have to say, the streaming and all that, they're getting ripped off.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things I think that America is learning, is that there's this mentality that you see someone on a Netflix movie or on a TV show and you're saying to yourself, oh, they're making coin. Well, unless they're, the crew from Friends or Seinfeld or something like that. No, they're not. And that is, I think, a real eye-opening thing, that most of the people in Hollywood are just not making any money.
I know. And Matt, could you have survived COVID? Or I couldn't even survive my insomnia now without streaming.
Yeah.
And you're like, the fact that they're not really getting paid for that is just crazy. So anyway, I mean, listen, we are way, pro-union out here. I just I was happy I'm a Kaiser out here. I love that my nurses got a deal. I love that the writers got a deal. A lot of my dear friends, like Jen Kirkman on the show are writers. I'm glad that's solved. I'm glad the president went and stood with UAW, and it's, I don't know, Matt, wherever this union bashing came from. I'm like, do you enjoy your weekends? Do you enjoy your overtime pay? Unions got you all that. What the F, right?
Exactly. And I think that it's so important that these messages are out there, but it does help us that they're so incompetent on the right that they make an argument for us on their own at this point.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, Matt, I know people are saying, oh, Jordan does finally win the speakership. That's going to guarantee a Democratic House. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know if America can survive a Jim Jordan speakership. It's just, you're like, someone was like, are you sure he's not going to pass intelligence to Donald Trump, who's already been denied intelligence because he's a friggin' traitor? And part of, I'm sure, what's happening now in the Middle East is because he shared Israeli intelligence with the Russians in the Oval Office.
Yes.
I mean, it's just who gave it to Iran and Hamas. And you're just, and Israel, Russia's training Hamas, and they're getting cryptocurrency from Russia. Are you kidding? Putin's fingerprints aren't all over this?
Yeah.
And this, is exactly on cue. His puppets here go, oh yeah, we got to cut off aid for Ukraine so we can give it just to Israel. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Oh God, you're just amazing. I mean, it's as far as it's not just progressive radio gold. You're radio gold. You're one of those. You're one of those talents that basically is up there in the pantheon, and it's such a privilege to have you on the air. It's an absolute. I'm giddy pink.
Matt, listen. Whenever you think that, just realize that I've been nominated multiple times for the Radio Hall of Fame, but I've never made it. I'm sort of the Jim Jordan of the Radio Hall of Fame. So you know what? Don't be intimidated.
Me and some of the Minnesota boys will go talk to them about that. We'll see if we get that fixed up for you. We'll have a nice little conversation there. I love you too, and it's just
I love you too, Matt. I mean that from the heart. I appreciate you and 950 and all of our listeners there so much, and I love coming to do Sexy Liberal there. I love getting to I love the Minnesota accents, quite honestly. I ask someone every time, is there a buffet near here? Is it reasonable? And they fall for it every time.
There's one right over there. They got the Salisbury steak. Yeah. You got to try that. That's delicious with the onions. That's nice. Yeah.
Anyway, honey, sexyliberal.com. $20 to come to the biggest liberal party in the world this Saturday with John Fugelsang and Hal Sparks and Frangela and me and Rob Reiner and Ron Perlman and Glenn Kirshner and Malcolm Nance. $20. You can watch it on demand anytime you want. And I just so grateful for y'all, and come join us.
Sexyliberal.com. It's once again the Sexy Liberal Tour comedy show on Saturday, the 21st from Los Angeles. You can go get your pay-per-view pass right there at sexyliberal.com. Stephanie, you're more than welcome back on my show anytime. All my best, and we'll all look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Thank you, Matt. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye. Stephanie Miller. A goddess. We'll take a break. Come on back. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
I'm having a really hard time lately, and I'm worried no one will understand what I'm going through.
I feel so alone. I wish there was somebody I could talk to.
If you're looking for support, Mental Health Minnesota is here for you, with connections to others who have also struggled with their mental health and can provide support and resources. Services are anonymous, confidential, free of charge, and open 7 days a week. Connect today at mentalhealthmn.org or call 855-HERE-FOR-MN today. Sponsored by Mental Health Minnesota, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? Be honest, how does your carpet look and smell right now? Okay, maybe you have a carpet disaster on your hands, but that's why you should call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner to save a little money, but trust shouldn't come that easily. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know it's safe and effective. That's why this month you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $149 and take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Spell it forward or backward, it's the same. Zero Res. Refresh, restore, and protect your investment. Call Zero Res to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals the other guys use.
I love Barill's idea, by the way. Mass singering the speakers roll. He's known for wanting to take away Medicaid and Medicare, Social Security from all the elderly, and he's about to sing a Tony Bennett classic. It's the Trout. It would actually have more dignity than what they're doing right now. Stephanie Miller is awesome, man. I was talking to the guys here about this. I do believe she might be the only host. I mean, Tom Hartman, I don't think was on when I started 13 and a half years ago on this station. I don't think Tom was on the air. Steph was. And I believe she's the only show that's been on longer than I have here. And it's just a privilege. And I have talked about, if you've listened to the whole day here, starting with Santita in the morning, running all the way up to Ghost Box Radio, and as well the evening programming, all the evening program we have here. It's just, this is the best lineup we've had. Period. I'm just proud of as Punch to be part of this, and it's a lot of great fun. So if you get the chance, the Sexy Liberal Show, once again, that is coming up here on Saturday. It's from the Saban Theater in Los Angeles. You can go to the sexyliberal.com. That's sexyliberal.com to get tickets. Or you could just call us right now and be caller number 5. And it's not a ticket. It's a pay-per-view pass. You can get yourself a pay-per-view pass right now at 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. That's the number. Call us. Let us know. It can be a caller number 5. You get yourself that pay-per-view pass. 952-946-6205 is the phone number. All right. Thank you very much, and good luck with that. Patrick is waiting for your phone call as we speak. I will, if I do want to, there's a lot of things I still have to get to, because in regards to the speakers race here, someone sent me a message about the guy that Stauber voted for. Westerman from Arkansas. I have no idea. I don't know if that's I don't know if Stauber was voting for him because he really believed in him, or if he voting for him just because it was there's Westerman, I'll vote for him. So this rural republicanism is a disease. Case in point, I brought up earlier today the story of the quarter of the high school that seems to be pro-Nazi down at that one school in southern Minnesota. Now we have a judge who basically, it's one of those judges where I'm just not going to follow the law anymore. I'm just going to rule the way I want to. A rural Minnesota judge issued orders barring 2 individuals from voting for the fall election because they are on probation related to felony convictions. A move, top DFL officials say, violates a new state law that restored their voting rights as long as they're not incarcerated. Attorney General Keith Ellison and Secretary of State Steve Simon, both Democrats, said in a joint statement on Tuesday they will oppose the orders, which they say the judge issued without prompting. The orders have no statewide impact. They should not create fear, uncertainty, or doubt in Minnesota. If you are over 18, a U.S. citizen and resident of Minnesota for at least 20 days and not currently incarcerated, you're eligible to vote, period. They said in their statement, it is critically important that everyone whose rights were restored understands they are welcome to our democracy. Judge Matthew Quinn, who is based in Mille Lacs County in central Minnesota, wrote in 2 orders issued last week that the new law is unconstitutional. Once again, this is a state law, and no, it's not. And the defendants are prohibited from registering to vote, voting, or attempting to vote. If this sounds like some guy just pulling this right out of his caboose, it's some guy just pulling this right out of his caboose. To do so is criminal act which can be investigated, charged, and prosecuted in the normal course. His order continues. Quinn's office could not be reached for comment on Tuesday, of course, because the coward's hiding. Quinn ordered probation for April Weyas and Emilio Trevino following sentencing hearings on August 12th. The order barring them from voting was issued as a supplement to the sentencing order. So they were ordered to probation, which means they can vote. And this jackass decided, guess what? I'm going to rewrite the laws, because that's what he did. On June 1st, Minnesota joined 21 other states, constitutional, that allow people with felony conviction to vote as soon as they are released from incarceration. Previously, they had to wait until they were off probation and had paid all fines. People affected by the new law will have their first chance to vote in special elections in the fall municipal races. Democrats in control of the House and Senate, who have pushed for the change for 2 decades, acted quickly to pass the law early this year after the Minnesota Supreme Court ruled in February that the law didn't violate the state's constitution. So once again, the state Supreme Court has already told Judge Clown Car here that guess what? It doesn't violate the Constitution. They passed the law. This is a poor little bitter man. I'll tell you what, I'll take a break and I'll come back and explain in a second. Patrick, considering the phone lines went crazy there, have we given away a pay-per-view pass?
We have. Congratulations to Gail in St. Paul. You are the winner of a pay-per-view pass to Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Comedy Show. Also, happy birthday, as I was told toward the end of the phone call. So a great double, I guess that's a great birthday present.
Gail, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And you share the same birthday as my son. So October 18th. So happy birthday to you. I hope you enjoy that there. Now, really quick, let me do some quick business here. We have got 2 more pay-per-view passes to give away. And that's it. 2 more. Tomorrow on social media at 9 o'clock, when we put out the social media post on the AM 950 Facebook page, the AM 950 Twitter page, the AM 950 Instagram page, you need to write in the comment section, I love John Fugelsang. If you do that, you will be entered in. You could possibly win the social media pay-per-view pass that we'll give away tomorrow. That's the last one we're doing there. And then tomorrow afternoon in the show, by the way, John Fugelsang joining us tomorrow. Tomorrow in the show, John Fugelsang is going to be here. But as well, you'll have one more chance to win a pay-per-view pass with John. So, yes, looking forward to that. Congratulations to Gail. Happy birthday to Gail. Let's take a break. Come on back. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A chance of rain tonight with a low of 48 and cloudy Thursday with a high of 59. The nights are getting colder, but the music is still the hottest at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. View their upcoming music schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. By the way, you can listen to the Stein interview and the Stephanie Miller interview. They are both spotlighted. We will have those up on our streaming services, podcastable, enjoyable. Go and knock yourself out. 952-946-6205. So let's get back to this judge. Now, I want to talk about Judge Quinn for a second. Quinn was imported to the court in 2017. He's issued a public This judge was issued a reprimand by the Minnesota Board of Judicial Standards in 2021 for liking posts on Facebook endorsing candidates for office, as well as official page for the former president Donald Trump. Yeah, he's a Trumper. And by the way, and this is Brianna Biersbach wrote this story, and Brianna, you are a genius journalist, and I love you, dear. But the reality is, if I can be honest with you, for comedic value, you should have led with this line. A judge who is tagged in photos participating in a Trump boat parade. Yeah, he's one of those jackasses. And he's out there and he's got his little Mille Lacs County jurisdiction. And Patrick brought this up during the break. Is he like one of these sovereign citizen guys or these constitutional sheriff guys? I'm the law. That's what he thinks in Mille Lacs County.
Yeah, because I'm reading it. It was kind of more like... at least the way I interpreted it, I'm not really saying this is unconstitutional for everybody. I'm saying for you people in my court, I am telling you I have decided you cannot vote.
I am the law. You are an idiot that does boat parades for Donald Trump, who, by the way, tried to overthrow the government of the United States, you stinking frickin' traitor. Oh, I mean, judge. You support that guy, you're supporting overthrowing the government of the United States. I'm just saying, apples, oranges, but I'm sure your constitutional interpretation will tell me I'm way off base there, Judgy. Come on, Judgy, tell me I'm way off base. Roscoe P. Coltrane, Judge. That's all I say. You're just, what an idiot. Ellison and Simon said the orders issued by one judge in one of Minnesota's 87 counties fly in the face of the Minnesota Supreme Court ruling earlier this year that deferred the decision of the voting rights to the legislature. So I want to make sure we understand this. He was never asked to weigh in on this issue in the first place. He was ordering probation for April Weyaus, Weyaus, and Emilio Trevino. So ordering them probation, which means by state law, which the Minnesota Supreme Court has signed off on, they now can vote. He then basically issued a second order no one asked for. So this is just him. I'm going to tell that legislature what I really think about them. I'm the judge of Mille Lacs County. Anyway, I don't know. We don't have audio. I'm just presuming that's what it sounded like. I got a boat. Anyway, he, without anyone asking, basically said their constitutional right to be able to vote no longer exists. So, yeah. Matthew Quinn, boat judge. Does he rule from the boat that he does in the Trump parades? Does he have a little gavel and a bench out there? The Supreme Court has signed off on this. The Supreme Court has said you can do this. And yet here he is basically saying, I am the law. No, you're not. No. You're wrong. And I look forward to the next judicial punishment that you'll be getting for, in the case of I pulled it out of my caboose versus sanity. But okay, so now let's start taking inventory here. You have one of the things that Steph was talking about is that in these rural parts of this country, there is this void of anything but far right news and far right, narrative. We talked about the school with multiple schools where there have been problems out there, including the school where a quarter of the school seemed to be pro-Nazi and showed up to racially attack one guy's house and threaten with bigoted gestures other people before then, I guess, breaking into the school and vandalizing it because, because all you have is far right news, pushing far right news. Stein said that, people can get what they want. And without having anything else in their lives, they basically are Nazis were misunderstood. And that's where you're at. Because I can tell you right now, those kids weren't born Nazis or Nazi sympathizers or people that thought Nazis were good. They were taught that. And I'm pretty sure they weren't taught that in the school. They're probably taught that at home. Anyway, so that's that school district. Now you have Judge Clowncar up there in Mille Lacs County saying, I don't agree. I'm going to dictate the law as I see him. Because why? Clearly he's immersed himself in far right news and doesn't care about what the real world says. Heck, he doesn't even read his legal briefings that the Supreme Court said that this is legal. He didn't even read his own legal briefings that contradicted the narrative he wanted to be true. Enjoy your punishment, sir. But let's talk about the fact that what life is like in rural Minnesota, where Republicans are in power and have been in power for an extended period of time. Because under their arguments, things have got a lot better here. No, they haven't. As a matter of fact, I got two stories here that show that life indeed is not getting better. And one of them points exactly to the reason why: Republican politics. But I'll go with the sad one first. Hayfield, Minnesota. Hayfield could soon be losing its only grocery store. Ryan's Foods has two potential buyers. They're visiting owner Jim Baldus. Baldus has announced the store will be closing October 31st. Baldus is also the owner of Jim's Marketplace in Austin. At this time, it's up in the air what the location will be. It's up to the next buyer. That's where it is. So you're in Hayfield, Minnesota. You're about to lose your local grocery store. And I can tell you right now, due to conservative corporate policies, I lived through this in Iowa, where I saw Iowa, it is just amazing to me that you want the power of brainwashing, of controlled narrative in the media. Go to Iowa, because in Iowa, When I was there in the 90s, working twice, I worked in Iowa. You had every town had a grocery store and a pharmacy and a hardware store and an implementation store and multiple gas stations. Many of them had movie theaters. Many of them had small businesses. Not anymore. One Walmart opened up and every store got run out of business for miles, 20, 25 miles near the store. They by intent. They killed them all. You're not helping out your local person there when the only grocery store in the town closes down. If I was a representative down there, I'd be down in Hayfield trying to find someone to go in there and open that, keep that grocery store open. Because for the people of Hayfield, that's important. I don't know what Dwayne Quam, yeah, that guy, Dwayne. Wasn't he the guy that yanked the microphone out of his opponent's hand? Yeah, Dwayne. I remember him. Carla Nelson as well. Those are your representative and your senator down there. My guess is they don't care. Oh, sure, they'll come on. It's like, oh, this is a travesty. They're not going to do a damn thing to help you. As a matter of fact, Republican policies in rural America have led to the reason why that grocery store is closing. So I wouldn't hold my breath for Dwayne Quam or Carla Nelson to come on out there and start helping you out. But that's nothing compared to going on in Zumbrota. Zumbrota is really, wow. You to listen to the people talk about this issue, it just tells you how rotten Republican politics has gotten to the core and how much it controls these rural communities. Rising costs have officials weighing in Zumbrota whether to disband the police department, the surprise of the residents who found out on social media over the weekend. The city of Zumbrota, which is not a small town, it's about 20 minutes north of Rochester, is considering contracting with the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office. A move comes after the Sheriff's Department hired away 2 of Zumbrota's 7 full-time officers. This is Zumbrota Mayor Todd Hamill. I'm going to read this. This is his quote, okay? We've got to figure out how we're going to try to keep our department together and not financially impact our taxpayers. Won't somebody think about the tax dollars? Why aren't the police coming to work for free for us? Don't you know how good it is in Zumbrota? Well, outside of the crap pay, but it's great here. I'll tell you, you're not going to make any money, but it's great here in Zumbrota. I paraphrase that last part of it. Zumbrota sits just east of Highway 52, with another highway serving as the north-south thoroughfare through the sleepy city of 4,000 people, with a mixture of longtime businesses in its downtown and franchises near Highway 52. Several longtime residents say local police are needed to combat rising crime from outside the community, because that's what we all do. I don't know about all you criminals, but when I get up in the morning on a Saturday, I say, where can I go and make my crime? Oh, I know, Zumbrota. I got news for you, Zumbrota. The call is coming from within your own house. Your crime is local. Oh, I understand. You want to take all your crime and polish it up and make it shiny. It's like, it's not here. No, it's there. It's there. And you probably all know where all the crime is too. Anyway. Rising crime from outside the city. Yeah, because that's where every criminal wants to go, is Zumbrota. It's like a piece of your family, said Mary Goodman, the police department. She sat with her friends at the Coffee Mill Cafe Wednesday morning. They work for all of us that live here. Goodman was shocked to hear the city's actions on local Facebook group on Sunday. She lives in the town near the Quick Trip off of 52, which she said is a hot spot for drug deals and shady meetings. Well, it's a Quick Trip, for God's sakes, man. What do you expect? Anywho, we need our police department, Goodman said. By the way, is there anything more small town than that one Quick Trip? That's where all the crime is at. It's right over there at the Quick Trip. The issue comes down to money. Goodhue County and other cities are offering better pay to police as law enforcement in Minnesota faces a workforce crisis. Agencies across the state are having trouble filling vacancies as officers leave the profession in droves, with fewer students coming in to replace them. All right, this is real simple. Pay them a competitive wage, and not only will you keep your officers in Zumbrota, but you'll probably fill up your ranks because you're paying a competitive wage. But that's not going to happen here, is it? because they got to protect the taxpayer dollars. At the end of the day, the bigger priority is not stopping the crime at the Quick Trip down in Zumbrota. It's the taxpayer dollars. We can turn our city into a hellscape, a burning apocalypse of crime and degradation, as long as the taxpayer dollars aren't violated. This is what a Republican-only media gets you. Stupidity. This is the dumbest damn argument. So it's not the fact that you guys are cheapskates and you're just not paying a livable wage to the police officers that you so desperately need. It's everybody else. Okay. You guys, aren't you the guys that fly the I stand by the blue flags? Aren't you the guys out there talking about, you gotta support the police? Well, unless it comes to paying them. Why don't people want to voluntarily work for the police department? I don't know. The troubles at the Quick Trip might be bad. Although that deal on milk they got at Quick Trip, that's a heck of a bargain. You can't beat that. And you're going to need that bargain because if you're not getting paid anything like the cops in Zumbrota, you need to be cutting costs wherever you can. This is the stupidest dang thing I've heard in a long time. This is the stupidest thing I've heard in a long time. This is an easy fix. Just pay them a competitive wage. But because your primary concern is taxpayer dollars, you're not going to do that. All right. I'll tell you what, more on this when I do come back. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
When it comes to houses, disassembly is our game. Deconstruction is our fame. There are some bucks for your project. Better Futures Minnesota is your contact.
Instead of demolishing your home, let us take it apart by hand, and we can find the building materials a new home. Limited funds are allotted in 2023 for Hennepin County residents and public entities to make deconstruction even more affordable. Check out betterfuturesminnesota.com. That's betterfuturesminnesota.com.
Hi, this is Gina. Matthew, I will not read this next line.
I'll be your snookum-wookums.
Fine. My husband is the sexiest radio host in Minnesota, Matt McNeil.
Dang straight.
When it came time to replace my vehicle, I wanted an option that was safe in the environment. I wanted a hybrid. My RAV4 hybrid is a greener vehicle without sacrificing style and comfort. I love my Toyota hybrid.
Toyota hybrids are incredibly fuel efficient. Test drive one today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Hi, this is Frank Brown, owner of Minuteman Press Uptown, Minnesota's only minority-owned union printing company. And I have big news. We've moved. Our new building in North Minneapolis is much larger with state-of-the-art equipment. That means we can get your projects done faster. We're on Washington Avenue North off I-94 at the Dowling exit, which allows for quick pickup and drop-off with plenty of free parking. And yes, we still print everything. I moved to MP Uptown because as a Black business owner, I want to be in North Minneapolis and help provide jobs. At MP Uptown, we pay above living wages, hire people who have made mistakes in the past, and believe in social justice. We have over 175 Google reviews with a 5-star rating. Let us handle your next print project because when you support our business, you support the community. Call 612-870-0777 or visit mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com. We print everything.
Going back to Zumbrota here, Hamill and other city leaders found at the end of August Goodyear County was interested in hiring Zumbrota officers. City officials met with Goodyear County Sheriff Marty Kelly to learn more about the county's hiring process and what it would cost if the county took over the policing services. My guess is part of that art discussion was, why are you paying so much? Why? You're hurting us. Because let me make sure you understand something. I lived in small town America. If a business opened up and started paying a better wage and started pulling away the employees from other businesses there, the other businesses would sit down and say, hey, we just want to have a kind little lunch with you. How about we sit down and have lunch? And you go, great, okay, no problem. So they'll go to lunch and they'll sit there and they all kind of lean in on the individual, say, now what's this about you paying everybody a better wage than the rest of us? And you say, well, I'm going to pay the rest. No, you don't seem to understand is you can't do that in this town. You need to pay less. And I'm going to guess something because I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen in small town. My guess is that was part of the discussion. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I'm taking a guess. Hamill says city leaders weren't even exploring their options until it became clear last month the last month the two Zumbrota employees were leaving. It would cost at least $200,000 to refill those positions and offer a $4 to $6 per hour raise for the officers. Wow. Really breaking the bank there, aren't they, in Zumbrota? $4 to $6 an hour raise. How much are you paying the cops in Zumbrota to deal with all the problems out by the Quick Trip? I mean, come on, man. I don't know why Quick Trip got it. They apparently Zumbrota, their Quick Trip is a hoot. By the way, if they just paid them $4 to $6, all that would do would bring the Zumbrota police officers' pay into line with nearby communities. So he's belly aching about if we have to replace these officers, we're going to have to pay more money because every other community around here pays more money than we do. Why are we the victim? Because you're jackasses. That's why. Because you're horrible people. That's why. Dear Lord. A contract with Goodhue County, which polices 5 other communities, costs about $128,000 this year for about 42 patrol hours each week. If Zumbrota does rehire officers, it would mean budget cuts elsewhere, or just raise your taxes slightly, morons. I don't think anyone down there is going to be too upset about you paying the cops a livable wage. Dear Lord. Here's if Zumbrota does hire budget cuts elsewhere, and steep wage hikes would likely prompt other city employees to ask for raises because apparently Zumbrota doesn't pay for crud. I'd be leaving Zumbrota right now too because it's clear they don't value you as an employee. They want you to work there twice as hard as everybody else for half the pay, or a third less pay, or whatever the case may be. Dear Lord, they just don't want to get the pay levels. I mean, all Zumbrota does, this crisis they have created is because they don't want to put a minimal tax increase on the 4,000 residents of Zumbrota, which would be minimal, to basically pay the fair market rate for a police officer. And they're terrified if they actually did that, then the rest of those slack-ass city employees who we can't get by without basically are going to want more money too. Wow. Zumbrota is the pit in hell. Who's the representative down there? Oh, it's Steve Truskowski is the senator. That's why. He's a horrible, horrible human being. That's why. Also, something called Stephen Jacob is the House rep. So Draz is the senator. Something called Stephen Jacob is the House rep. And they're basically, their whole mentality is, well, we're not going to pay. Well, good luck. I think Zumbrota is going to be one of those towns which loses population because, why would I want to be there if you guys don't value the workers? This is why I always get hilarious when they try to Libertarian Island, where all the libertarians are going to go out there. And the first thing I said is, well, who's going to make the coffee for them in the morning? And they all just kind of look at us like, well, one of the wealthy people will. Sure they will. Sure they will. Good luck with all that. What's 2 years in the future going to bring? What's 3 years going to bring, Hamill said. Hamill said he's heard pushback from community members who are afraid the city will be unsafe with no police department. He said Zumbrota will have law enforcement patrolling community at a minimum of 20 hours per week, regardless of the city's decision. I live in this town. I have a family in this town. Obviously, security and police is very important. Well, not that freaking important, Hamill. It's clearly not that important to you, or else you would, I don't know. $200,000. Okay, let's just do this minimal pay raise. So we'll just $6 an hour times 40 hours a week times 52 hours is $12,000, 480 divided by 4,000. That's the amount of residents. So it's basically per resident, you're going to have a $3 increase in taxes to cover the cost of the police department. Or you could, I guess, go pay $100 an hour for a private company to do it. Just raise the taxes, dude. I mean, this is not, I get it. You've been inundated with the stupidity, the black hole of dumbness that is Draz. I get that. But this isn't a hard fix, because if you don't fix it, your town's going to die. But considering how dumb you guys are being about this, maybe that's not the worst outcome here. By the way, shout out to Marla, Libra's rule. Thanks for the heads up on the Draz on that one. We are back tomorrow with Fugle saying, have a good one. Till tomorrow. See ya.
Hi, this is Ken Hagelin, host of Living Healthy and Aging Well, inviting you to listen to our live call-in talk show airing every Saturday